Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living with me, Mark Candelaria. I'm an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I'm the founder and now partner of a fabulous 25-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and now Napa over the last 20 years, and in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Quick announcement. I'm honored to be invited to cook at Taliesin West and serve a fabulous once-in-a-lifetime dinner in the Frank Lloyd Wright dining room on January 16th. We are auctioning 30 seats for this dinner, with the proceeds going to Taliesin and the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation. Go to our website or this podcast story notes to get the link to place your bid. Bidding ends January 9th, so get your spot now. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our new sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Okay, thank you so much for all the listens and subscribes and reviews. You guys are doing a great job. Our podcast has been growing like crazy. And I'll tell you what, I really appreciate all the great comments and stops on the streets complimenting us on the podcast. We've got some great guests coming up, including the podcast today. And remember to screenshot your screenshot your review, direct message it to me, and we are going to be picking a winner right before the end of the year on one of the podcasts live. We'll probably Instagram it live. We're going to pick one person to go to Spain with us on our 2020 Spain tour. We'll provide the airfare and the hotel for you. So keep those subscribes and reviews coming. And speaking of reviews, I got a great one the other day. This is from Droppin' Load ZZZ on December 3rd. What a great listen this was. Knowing both these guys personally and having a tremendous amount of respect for both, this is one of the most enjoyable podcasts I've ever listened to. I highly recommend. So they're talking about the podcast with Evan and Christian Delaney, which I definitely recommend you listen to. They've got some great inspiring tips on just making things happen and getting through the day and achieving everything you can for inspiring living. So check that out, okay? Thanks again, guys. Stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, I have a very fun podcast for you today. I've got a special person in here, good friend, former client, Clarissa Burt. Clarissa Burt's journey to entrepreneur, TV video producer, public speaker, author, writer, inventor, award-winning actress, and entertainer has all the makings of a best-selling novel. At 18, Clarissa was a top model with the Wilhelmina modeling agency in Manhattan. Soon after, she moved to Milan and quickly began appearing on hundreds of magazine covers, such as Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, and Cosmopolitan, as well as on most of the major runway shows in Milan, Paris, New York, and Japan. This led to work for cosmetic houses Revlon, Dior, and Clarita, Helena Rubenstein, and her selection as the worldwide face for Orlane Cosmetics. Clarissa has performed in numerous movies and can be remembered as the evil queen in The Never-Ending Story Part 2. Clarissa has also appeared on hundreds of television shows, and in 1999 founded her television production company, Numen International in Rome. Her productions have included the Miss Universe Pageant and World Sports Awards. In 2001, the Clarissa Burt hair product and facial cream lines were successfully launched on Home Shopping Network Italy. A leading authority on beauty, image, and self-esteem, Good Morning Italy called upon Clarissa to host the popular beauty segment, Clarissa Suggests. After 25 years in Europe, this who's who of American and international women returned to the United States, where she hosted her own radio show entitled Clarissa Burt Talks on Voice America. and World Talk Radio interviewing renowned entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Runway Beauty Magazine brought Clarissa on board as health and beauty editor for their 2008 launch. She has launched Clarissa Burt TV, the Look Good, Feel Good, Be Good television for women, and is the author and co-author of a number of amazing books. Get ready for Clarissa Burt. Okay, good morning and welcome to my podcast, Inspiring Living. I have a guest that I am so excited about. I reached out to her. We've been in touch since 2008, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was designing a house for you.
That's right.
And that's how we met. And it was a house I think we originally had designed for somebody else.
That's right.
And they didn't take it.
That's
and
right.
then we were going to tweak it for you.
That's right.
And 2008, if you guys all remember, was just a marvelous year, wasn't it? It was one of the best years of my life.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
So I think we met then. We worked a little bit. Then you took off and I took off.
That's right.
And then
we're always taking off.
Yeah,
Mark.
we always keep bumping into each other, though, right?
At the airport.
At airports, at functions, we bumped
Exactly.
into each other.
That's right.
So I think there's always, I always say there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
And I know we have a lot in common. And so we recently reconnected when I ran into a friend, an artist who I discovered on social media, and she introduced me to her friend,
Right.
Rita Romano.
Right.
And she has this fabulous cookbook that then you collaborated
That's
on.
right. What's a collab?
Yeah, so it's called Italian Gluten-Free Gastronomy.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it when she handed me the book. I go, well, I know Clarissa. She goes, oh, you do? I said, well, yeah. I worked with her many years ago.
Yeah.
And I keep bumping into her in these random places.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, this book is awesome. I've been going through it. You know, as you guys all know, I love to cook.
Right.
And my wife, Isabel, is gluten-free.
Right.
So when I saw
perfect
this,
book for you
it was
guys.
perfect. Book
Yeah.
for,
Italian, gluten-free, right? I mean, it's a great concept.
Yeah.
And the reason is, well, first of all, I had just met Rita here in town, her also being from Italy.
Right.
And she said, I'd love to work with you. What can we do? And I said, how about a book?
Right.
And I had just come off of, some really bad gluten-free experiences for about 25 years.
I was reading about some of these. It was horrible.
Where I would basically become Shrek overnight. And by the way, living in Italy for 30 years and not knowing about the gluten problem. It's pizza, it's pasta, it's pane.
And you're a supermodel.
Right.
So
I was.
Yeah, until you turn into Shrek. Holy mackerel.
And I wound up so many times in the hospital, and I never left the house without the EpiPen, which was a big deal. So the last 2 times that I did have these, what I call attacks, or the anaphylactic shocks. And so it was really getting to a point in my life where I went, whoa, okay. So I had to found out what it was, and I went, you know what? And I know there are plenty of either celiacs or people that need to eat gluten-free in Italy as well, but not only.
So how long ago was this that you discovered this?
This was 5 years ago. I
so
discovered
pretty
it finally.
recently.
Yeah. Because I really went through, I had a hard time with it.
Geez.
So this book was made because Rita and I collabed on this. I'm going to put it like that so people can see.
Yep.
And then last week in Italy, when I was in Italy, we just came out, just did the book signing for the Italian version of the Italian Gluten-Free Gastronomy Cookbook. This can be found on Amazon.
Yeah, we'll add the link.
Yeah, we'll have to add the links.
We'll add the link because I loved meeting Rita. What a nice lady.
Oh, she's the best.
And we've had her over for dinner one time, and definitely someone I want to stay in touch with.
She's a doll baby, and I loved her. She did such an amazing job on this book, and I want to just open it up a sec so that people can see that every recipe has a picture. The pictures were, taken.
I'm actually not filming, so.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Oh.
So don't worry about that. But
Okay.
I'll post it so they see the book. I should have told you that.
That's okay.
But it's okay.
I saw a camera there, and I went right into video mode.
She knows that mode really, really well.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. But this book, I tell you what, I'm obviously a cookbook. I've got thousands of cookbooks sitting right here behind me. This book is really well done. I opened it up and I got absorbed by the story right away. Yeah. And then when you see how it's arranged and the recipes are real simple.
Real simple.
They're not complicated.
Not at all.
But looking through them, they're really good.
Right. So the Italian Gluten-Free Gastronomy Cookbook was born from the collaboration of Rita saying, hey, let's do something, me saying, let's do a gluten-free book, and there you go.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So let's get into your story a little bit, okay?
Sure.
I know you were born here in America.
Philadelphia. Graduated high school in New Jersey, moved to Manhattan.
Okay.
Went with Wilhelmina. This is real fast forward.
Yeah, it's okay.
Was taken by the Wilhelmina modeling agency. From there, I went to Paris And
how old were you then?
I was 21.
Okay.
So Paris and I didn't really get along so well. Lovely place, just couldn't be there for too long.
Yep.
And then I just skipped over to Italy, and I fell madly in love with the place, the people, the food, the whole, the deal.
I know the deal. I'm the same way. I mean, Paris is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. It's nice.
Right.
But I don't know. I just feel at home in
Right,
Italy.
exactly.
And we've added Spain in the last few years, and I
Right.
love Spain too. But then we just came back to Italy again, and we're like, we both, Isabel and I looked at each other, and we just like, this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
There's no other place.
No.
And so I lived there for 30 years. I worked there for 30 years. Loved every minute of it. I am Italian, an Italian citizen now.
Yeah.
I speak fluent Italian, and I worked on television there. So, I'm doing all of my passions in one. Television, the television set, a microphone, obviously, and Italy all together. In live television, I produced a lot of television there. The Miss Universe pageant was mine for 5 years. 3-hour live broadcasts in prime time.
Wow.
So the kind of television production that I did and was used to was really it was just stellar all the way around.
Interesting. So you graduated from high school.
Yep.
But then did you go to college or you did not?
I did not. I went to one semester at Stockton State down in South Jersey.
Okay.
Because we were living in New Jersey at the time.
Yep.
And that's when I said,
You're not into that gig.
I couldn't sit still,
Yeah.
when I was in kindergarten, let alone sit still when I was in, college and wanted to get out and see the world.
Right.
So I was always a little ADHD, or how many other letters we can put behind that. And I just, I just had to go. I had to live in New York, and I wanted the big city. I wanted the city lights.
So you learned everything just as you went through it.
I did.
Hands-on.
I was the first in the family to have a passport to even go to college.
Right.
And I only went for a semester. So, I have to, I say this not because I don't want people to go to college, but I would have never learned what I learned sitting in a classroom.
I'm the same way.
I would have never learned the Italian that I speak now. I would have never learned art appreciation the way I do now. Living 30 years in Italy and many other things.
Yeah, there's only so much you can read or learn in a book.
Exactly.
Versus actually physically being there and experiencing it.
Yeah. And, I'm just so darn thrilled and blessed by it all because I did everything that I wanted to do my way, which is already something in Italy. It's a little, you got to be careful with the way you do things there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So with your time in Italy, you're in your 20s?
I was in my 20s.
Early 20s. And so you were there all by yourself, right?
Yes.
You had no family.
No. And by the way, reminder, no computer, no cell phone, no internet, nothing. None
just
of that
letters.
existed. Yes.
Right?
Well, airmail. The airmail back and forth.
I remember that.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah.
It was cheaper, and you used to write it on this real thin, paper. And I still have all those letters from back and forth with my grandmother. And
wow, that's cool.
I still have them.
That's very neat.
Yeah, so that was it. There was no communication. And any time that, it's funny because when I first got there, Mark, I was just so green and just modeling, and they put us into this model house with a bunch of people.
Yeah, so say, where did you live?
Well, that was it in the beginning.
Huh.
You get to this what they call the model house, and I had a room to myself, but there were many different people in it. And so I had my little pochette, my little purse, with my few dollars in it, and my return ticket home, and I didn't know where I was. And so every night, not every, but lots of nights, us girls, we would go out to the discotheques. That's what you did then. That was like fun back in the day. And I loved to dance anyway. So I would go, and I went with my little pochette one night because I wasn't going to leave it there, for all the models to find it. People I didn't know, and I took it, and we were at the table with a couple of girls, a couple of other guys, and of course I'm always on the dance floor. Where are you going to find Clarissa? She's dancing. And so I come back, and these guys had disappeared from the table with my pochette.
Oh my
So
gosh.
now I don't have my ticket home, and I don't have the $500, the only money to my name.
Right.
In 1983.
Okay.
So that was the only time I called home. And I had to call collect.
Yep.
And, Mom, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? She says, honey, you're always welcome to come home. And that's when I put on my big girl britches and said, okay, I'm 24 years old now.
It's time to figure it out.
Time to figure it out. Not going home. Can't go back.
It's always the story of like the best way to success is burn the bridges behind you. You have no other way but to go forward.
There's a turning point.
Yeah.
And it's that point where, you're halfway across the world.
Yeah.
There's nobody, there's nothing. You are alone. You don't speak the language.
Yeah.
You're doing your go-sees every day with
gosh.
public transportation. And you have no internet.
Right.
You're like reading the damn map like those big things we
Yeah.
used to have.
Oh, and the maps, and I mean, you can't find the street signs anywhere.
It was tough. Can't find. So it was an interesting one. Look, there's no place I think in the world that I could go now and get lost. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. That's very true. I'm sure it hasn't been a straight road, though, right? I mean, there's been a lot of hiccups and a lot of challenges along the way. Let you get that adjusted there.
Yeah, I mean, the entrepreneurial life anyway is zigzag. It's never one straight line. And the same is to be said for, being in the entertainment industry, whether I was a model or I was acting or, working on television. It was, it's ups and downs. There's always going to be a time where it's not going to go exactly the way you wanted it to go.
Right.
You figure that out too.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to be a model for the rest of my life, and then I wanted to act. And that was okay.
So how did you do that transition?
It was interesting because, I just knew that, first of all, I had started modeling late. I had the great fortune to look younger than I guess, than I am. And because I'm 60 now, but when I was 20, I still look pretty young.
Yeah.
And
we still look pretty young at 60.
Oh, thank you very much. That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to say, Mark, because that's why I threw that out there. I was hoping to get that compliment. But so I just decided that, I knew that I always had in mind what was going to be next.
Right.
While I was living in the moment and while, I was really basking in the glory of the great success, I always knew there was something else I wanted to do. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to act after modeling. And after modeling, after acting, I wanted to go on television. I much prefer a television set and atmosphere, especially if it's live, to a movie set. And I've done plenty of movies to be able to, I've had a ball.
It's just different. The energy's different.
Different energy.
Yeah.
Different energy. You don't have to memorize anything. There's no, interacting. You just, boom, you're live. They go like that. They point at you, and the show is on.
Right.
And you've got a live audience, and the energy is just electrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting just interviewing you because obviously I've interviewed quite a few people. And your energy is definitely there. I mean, it's like, usually I'm the energy, and I'm like, come on, let me give you some energy. And it's like, for once I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I've got an energy ball right in front of me here.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
I've been told before I've got a little, I'm good on the energy thing. But I just love the medium.
Yeah.
And which is, why today I've got my own, multimedia platform.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Well, In the Limelight, it's called In the Limelight, In the Limelight Media. And I've always said that the next step for me was going to be my own. Look, I say very tongue-in-cheek, by the way, Oprah, Martha,
I love it.
And Clarissa.
I love it.
So, just being able to follow in the footsteps of some of the greats in media. I have an entrepreneurial platform. I call it Intelligent Media for Savvy Entrepreneurs, which is why I won't be asking you to. No, I'm kidding. I was hoping you would be.
Yeah,
I'd be able to interview
to.
too as well. But it's a magazine that is very international in flavor.
Right.
And so it's not local, it's not national, it's kind of entrepreneurialism on a global scale.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which is really great. And it's those 4 pillars that we talked about before going on air, which was look good, feel good, be good, and greater good. So entrepreneurs that have products or services that help you look better, feel better, be better, which is a whole world. That's finance, it's insurance, it's and it's greater good, which is giving back. What do you do to give back?
Right. That's important. That's a big part in our company.
Yeah.
And that's something, those 4 things are something we really embrace in our company. And I know architecture is slow. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just order a house on Amazon, you get it in 5 hours.
Right.
So, but what we're trying to do with our houses is exactly what you just said. And, just create a space that inspires you, makes you feel good.
Right.
Enhances how you live.
Right.
And people don't get that. They want to go get a set of plans. Give me a set of plans.
Right.
And we want to build.
Right.
For what?
Right.
So
well,
I love what you're doing.
Too, for you to enter, and it is in media as well. When I'm doing an interview, it's important to enter into the head, and more the mindset of how those people live,
operate.
Well, right. And for you, it'd be how they live. For me, it's how they operate.
Right.
Like what's their gig?
Right.
What is it that really floats their boat and gets them up in the morning?
What's interesting for me is how many people can't answer that question.
Yeah.
When I ask them that, and they look at me like, I just need a set of plans.
Right.
It's like, well, why don't we talk about this a little bit? And
exactly.
then they kind of start waking up like, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're you. Right.
That's
That's
why you're you.
Right. Yeah. So, but the whole medium for me, I saw that there are a lot of entrepreneurial magazines. You got
Right.
Inc., you got Entrepreneur, but they really take life from a more business perspective. My perspective is lifestyle.
See,
And
and that's
s-
why
yeah.
that's why I love what you're
Right.
doing.
It's lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's like as I said, this next magazine I'm going to have. First of all, the second magazine I had a gal here in town by the name of Valerie Thompson. Do you know Valerie?
Yeah.
The fastest motorcycle racer, female racer. And I just thought she was like real, kick-ass entrepreneurial
Yeah.
woman that gets stuff done. And that's the kind of woman I was going after. The next one's going to be the Lamborghini family. So I'm going to have Tonino and his son Ferruccio on the cover. Ferruccio. On the cover. So there, I want to alternate man, girl, boy,
Right.
woman, and just keep it
it
going
mixed
that
up.
way. Yeah, keep it,
Keep it
yeah.
Energized.
Right.
You're about energy.
Energy. There you
Energy
go.
all the time. So what has been your key to success? I mean, what motivates you and how do you do it? I mean, obviously you lost your little satchel thing there or whatever you called it.
Right.
But
that was, I think it's so easy to crawl up into a ball, and
We've
it's
all been there, right?
a lot easier to do that. And the hard part is really figuring out the next steps. The key, there is no real, to me, key to success. I think that something you need to know about success is that you're not going to get there unless you fail.
Right.
And so be really open to that. Be
Yeah.
open to failing. Be open to getting it wrong.
Right.
Before you're going to get it right, and you're going
Right.
to do that 1,000 times before
Yep.
you get it right.
Yep.
So get real comfortable with that. Not too comfortable, but comfortable enough to not beat yourself up about it.
Right.
And know that it's one of those things that's kind of.
Well, I always tell people if you're not
To be
failing, you're really not
expected.
pushing
Yeah,
yourself probably hard
exactly.
enough.
So you're going to expect that. You don't want to get complacent with it either, but you want to give yourself enough leeway to go, okay, but I keep trying, and
Right.
because I really want to get this right. And I think it's innate, it's inborn, and I think it's also the passion that drives
Right.
us to do what we do.
So where did you get that from? Were you born with it?
I
Was it instilled in
think,
you, or is it just who
yeah.
you are?
No instilled. There
Yeah.
was no instilling. No, there wasn't very much instilling. I was the breakout
Yeah.
from the family. I was the one, again, first one to have the passport, first one to go to college, firstborn, I was the first in everything.
Right.
And so people, I think in the family, looked to me for a little bit in all, but also for guidance. I
Right.
think that I stepped into the role of, I used to have kids when I was 5 years old saying, we don't want to play with you. You're too bossy. Well, it's like, okay, all right, if that's the way you want to be. But I always say, but you always come to me when you know how to get shit done.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know
You know,
exactly what you're talking
look,
about.
I
That was
don't-
me in my neighborhood.
Right, okay. But they always, if they need something, who do they call?
Right.
The one that gets stuff done.
Yeah, that's exactly
And
right.
that's just how I was.
And you like doing things. I mean,
love it.
you've
Can't
got
stay still. Can't sit still.
you've got multiple projects
Can't.
going
Oh my
on,
God.
right?
Well, yeah, I've got the media piece, which
Right.
is, first of all, it's pretty much like it's on a much smaller scale than what Oprah does, but she's got $1 billion and 1,000 people helping her. I'm doing it all alone. I mean,
Yeah.
You know what it is just to pull this podcast
Oh
together,
yeah,
right?
I've
It's
got
not-
help.
Right.
I do have people helping me.
I know.
Yep.
And so I was able to get recently a couple of interns, which was really helpful out here in Phoenix. But it's mostly me. I'm an 18-hour kind of guy. I've been at the computer since 4 o'clock.
Yep.
So, and it's whatever time
Doesn't
it is.
matter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because I'm constantly at the computer. Doesn't matter what time it is. But I just really, I know that I think I've done enough market research to know that there is a need for smart media,
Right.
for intelligent media, for entrepreneurs and their lifestyle,
Right.
that they will want to learn from, garner information from, and I think that the best way to do that is to do it at an international
So
level.
do you think that audience, age-wise, are they in their 20s or in their 30s?
I go usually from 30 to 65.
30 to
That's where I
65.
think my sweet 30, 65, 35 to 65.
Yeah.
I'm about 75% women, 25% men.
Okay.
Just
Similar audience for
yeah,
me.
I cater to
Yeah.
more to a female audience.
Yeah, interesting.
And I'm getting really excited because the next step for me is the events.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited about pulling people into the same room and just doing the events.
Yeah.
And I mean events in a larger.
Sure.
We had to talk about that too because I want to find out a couple of your connections here in town. But
Yep.
hotels, the gig, bring people in from out of
No,
town.
and people love experiences.
They do. They really do.
And if they can walk away being inspired, or they've learned something, or they meet people, the opportunity to meet different people that you would never meet any other way.
Right.
So we're kind of doing more of that too. I mean, we're actually putting a full kitchen in our office now.
I know. I saw that. That's amazing. What's going on? It's upstairs, isn't it?
Upstairs, on the fourth floor.
I know.
So that'll be fun.
I saw pictures. Maybe 2 months ago. So I'm sure it's come
coming
much
along.
farther. That's awesome.
It's getting there.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I really think is like, okay, do I really need to do the events? No, I don't. I got plenty to do.
Right.
But I also have the lifestyle brand. So we've got Clarissa Chocolates.
It all ties together.
Yeah. We've got Clarissa Cosmetics. We've got Clarissa Travel Club. We've got, there's all kinds of other things that I'm branding thanks to the celebrity piece that I was able to work toward in Italy. And that, again, it doesn't make me any bigger or better because in the States, nobody knows who I am. So remember that.
That was my question. I mean, is your audience more in Italy?
More in Italy for sure.
Interesting.
I'm growing it slowly here.
Huh.
But the idea is also that the idea of being international in that way gives a different perspective on what I bring now to the United States when I'm, talking about the media piece and everything else that I'm doing. All of the products that Clarissa, I just came back with a purse deal. Just came back with a purse deal.
Good for you.
So everything I'm coming back, it's all Italian.
Yeah.
Everything that I do is an Italian piece that I'm bringing to the States.
It's interesting. So just a couple of podcasts ago, I had Marco Felicioni. From
Marco Filicioli.
Filicioli. I always mess his name up.
Yeah. He was like one
of
the
first
Italians I met. Years ago, I met Marco.
Yeah, so I was just with him 2 weeks ago. Great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing what you're talking about, just with the furniture and wall
right,
coverings and stuff like that. And it was interesting, when we were there, he had a friend from Italy there that was doing different types of wall coverings. And he was talking about the fact that there's so many great artisans in Italy, but they have no knowledge of how to market and how to get their products out there, and I
get hit up all the time.
It's crazy.
I get hit up all the time, Mark. My problem is I don't know how to do it either. I know how to do it for me, but I don't know how to do it on a larger scale.
Right.
Bring it, the other part of it is I think that so much is going online now that it almost doesn't make sense to have the four walls anymore.
Right.
So and I think that it's, again, in publishing. No more really. There's very little in the way of hard copy.
Sure.
Everything is going online. So,
it's all changing.
It's all changing. Everything has been shifting now, pretty much for the last 10, 15 years. And it's going to continue to do so.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, is, I mean, you have a whole generation. I mean, look at my kids. They've lived in this cell phone, internet world. That's all they know.
Yeah, that's all they know. Right.
And so their perspective of how to purchase and how to establish a lifestyle is totally different than what we did.
Than what we did.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
Whole different world.
So, and the other thing that when I talk about the events, events, bringing people together, it's an entrepreneurial thing. But what I have created also in the Italian gig, and this is something we'll have a deeper dive on, is the International Entrepreneurial Award, which is called the International Impresario Award. So what I do is I go over and I actually create an award ceremony for the entrepreneurs that come over with me,
cool.
and create really, and again we meet. I told you,
you
have your whole.
Tell me about
you
this.
have your tribe with your culinary, and your architectural. I have the entrepreneurial, and so we go over and we go. There are 20, 30 of us in a room, but we're knees to knees with Lamborghini, Ferragamo.
That's crazy.
We're Pagani, with the Bulgaris, with Damiani's, like all these major the Pininfarina.
Wow.
We go all over Italy, and they welcome us all with open arms, and they treat us like we're royalty. And behind the scenes at the Vatican is something that you, Mark Candelaria, would absolutely. I think you would pitch a tent in there and never leave.
Oh my gosh!
Because just the museums themselves. But let alone, I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you where the Pope gets dressed. I'm going to take you and show you exactly all the stuff that's the behind the scenes at the Vatican.
That's amazing.
I haven't.
I mean, just the what's in the scene is amazing, and you can't even consume it all.
Exactly.
But to see the
behind the scenes of the Vatican
is
something off the charts. Bill. When I was in Italy 10 days ago, I sat down with what they call the ceremonial division of the Vatican, and they've very sweetly lined up for me. We've got a private audience for you on the 9th of November with the Pope. Listen, I don't want to hold the Pope up. I honestly, God, I really don't. But I can't hang out here for another 3 weeks and waiting for the, I'm staying with friends.
Right.
You don't want to impose. So I'm thinking about either flying back in for that or just, asking if the Pope wouldn't mind. I'll check you on the next time around because I just can't be everywhere with everything. But this is the kind of, when you live there for 30 years and you are working until you make these connections that are lifetime.
Yeah. And Italy's, I don't know, I just find it a very connected culture. I mean, the people are, they care. I mean, when I meet people there, it's like, gosh, I feel like I've known you forever.
Exactly.
And
when you go back after a year?
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've got waiters that I've been going to the restaurant, the same waiter for 20 years.
Right.
And he comes and hugs me. He remembers me every year.
That's amazing.
It's like,
isn't that the greatest feeling?
oh, I love it. Yeah. And that's why I like Italy.
You guys
as opposed
got
to
married at Villa d'Este, right?
We got married at Villa d'Este. And John Legend watched our wedding. We have a picture of him sitting on his porch watching our wedding. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
They got married the day before.
Oh,
him and Christy Teigen.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so Kanye was there. I mean, it was a whole entourage.
What's happening?
Yeah, it was good timing.
Well, I'll say. Yes, it was. But it's the most, look, I think it's the most magical place on the planet. Yeah. I mean, there's just nothing, there's no place in Italy that you can go and have a bad meal.
Yeah, and the other thing I find about Italy, and there's so many parts of Italy I haven't explored yet. We do Firenze, we do Roma, we do the typical ones. Mm-hmm. But now we've been doing little towns like Oslo,
right?
And just different places that Spello and just off the beaten path, more play.
Did you get to go up to the north at this time of the year? You go up north and you get the tartufo. Did you do that?
Yes, that's so good.
I was going to say that's a must for you.
Yes, I want to do the
Dolomiti.
Dolomite. I want to do that, and and then I want to do the bottom of the boot.
Right.
That whole that whole region there just looks so cool.
It's again, you can't have a bad meal. You'll never see a bad view. You're never gonna.
You're talking about the churches earlier. Everyone goes to the Vatican. Everyone goes to the church in Siena.
I just go into everyone I see.
But yeah, so I tell my travelers that all the time.
Everyone I see, and the funny part of churches is they're not always the big majestic things in the center of the square. So I walked by the one the other day, and there was just this velvet curtain. It was a green velvet curtain, and the wind blew it open, and I saw the altar, and I went.
What
that's
the heck?
a church. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
And some of them are amazing.
And they're just amazing. They're all amazing.
How come this isn't in a tour book?
There's not a church that's not amazing.
No, that's what I tell people. I tell people, just duck in and check it out. It's not in your tour book. You're not going to find it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And they come out, that was the coolest place.
And the really cool thing about it is that, in Rome, they're so chill because they're so used to, tourists coming in and taking the pictures. Oh, yeah. And I was in there about 10 days ago, and here comes this guy going, sorry, everybody out. Church is closed. It's closing. Closing for lunch. Everybody out.
Yep.
I never said. When did they choose to close church? But anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Well, we can get sidetracked on Italy pretty fast.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of the other things you got going on right now. Some of our projects.
Well, as I said, I've got the media pieces. Has launched 3 months ago, so I work on that a lot, all the time. Then we've got I'm working on the magazine now, which is great. It's a digital version of the magazine coming out on December 1st.
Okay.
And then we've got the Clarissa Travel Club. It's going really well, and that's
we're going to add all your links.
Right. That's an online multimedia. That's an online portal. It's just like Kayak or Priceline. That's what that is. But we guarantee you 110. In other words, if you find cheaper travel within 24 hours, we refund the difference and give you 10% of the difference. So there's no better way to travel than with Clarissa Travel Club, and that's all over the world. I mean, it's a really great portal, and I need to get the word out more.
Yeah.
And then we've got the purse line that we're getting started on now, which I got to hook you up with this guy. He's right outside of Rome, and he makes them by hand.
I know, I love stuff like that.
By hand. And when you go down south, I'm going to hook you up with a guy that makes your shoes by hand. I mean, it's the nuttiest place. I'm telling you, it's nutty.
See, what I love about that, too, is, the shoe itself is absolutely beautiful, but I love meeting the person that's making the shoe. That, to me, is just such a cool experience.
And in Florence, there's a guy that makes your shirts. Now, I know you probably have had your shirts made, and you've had them made in Italy, but this guy is like the shirt guy. And then there's the little things, Mark, that I bring back from Italy like this time that I'd done before, but I just had to get more. It's how the wax seal?
Yes.
So the wax is all the million different colors in the seal, and I got a new CB, and
It's funny, I was just looking at those the other day.
Right? That's the kind of stuff that it's kind of old artisan-y, But it's the most beautiful way, I think, to send a letter is with that.
So
you know,
pretty. The personal touch.
Yeah, the personal touches.
You know, we've been talking about that, and we talked about that with Marco the other day, is, you know, the more high-tech we get, I think the more coveted handmade things are going to become.
Yes,
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I mean, people are stunned by it, you know. So
and the hand-painted scarves. I mean,
that's why we still draw the houses by hand. You know, people love seeing that happen right in front of them.
Yeah.
Versus a guy on CAD.
Right.
You know, not the same experience.
Look, it's a different world, but those are the kinds of things that you hope will live in perpetuity and that you can pass on.
So that's one of my questions, too. Do you think the younger generation has a desire to do those type of things, or the patience to do those things?
I think it depends on how good we are at teaching them.
Yeah,
I think it really is important.
And I think promoting
the tradition in the household also, I think, is a huge piece on that of that as well. And you know, look, I know that we used to be young, you know, teeny boppers back in the day. We thought our, you know, grandparents were old farts too.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wanted us to know something and to learn something. And I'm sure that you've brought something forward that you will never let go of. And I know that I have too.
Yeah.
So I would like to think that, you know, whoever the message is meant for will get it.
We'll catch on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I totally agree with you. So you're always extremely busy, and you're always doing something. How do you balance everything?
Well, I'm not married and I don't have children. So
that helps a lot.
Yeah, it helps a lot. You know, I am total free agent right now. And I ask myself that question if I were to meet someone, and I do hope that the good angels and the Lord will send him to me. But if I were to meet someone, you know, I would have to obviously, you know, you do what you have to do in order to live the life you want to live.
Yeah.
You know, and so if that meant I met, you know, Mr. Wonderful, then some things would have to kind of either go by the wayside or I'd get more help. Or,
to a certain degree.
You get more help and you just make stuff happen. I know where I want to be. I know where I'm going, and I love what I'm doing. So it's...
No, I can feel your passion. Like I said, I feel your energy for sure. So what advice would you give to someone that's just starting out as a model or in your business?
Right. You know, this is a great... look, modeling is a really fabulous place to be if you are a serious entrepreneur.
Right.
If you think it's just doing it because it's gonna, you know, you're gonna get rich and famous, forget
more
it.
Likes on
you
Instagram.
Know, rich and famous only happens to a really coveted few. A real coveted few, because there are only a certain amount of places on the Valentino runway.
Sure.
Or, you know, which I was thrilled to be on. You know, they only take 18, 20 girls in the whole world. So I'm walking the runway with Iman. I'm walking the runway with Christy. These were the days when, you know, again, no Photoshop, and you brought to the table.
That was it.
Yeah. You know, and so I don't know. I just was really, really blessed, really, really lucky, and you just have to got to bring your best. If you're serious about being an entrepreneur, again, remember, you're an entrepreneur. You have an agent,
right?
But they're working for you too.
Yeah.
So you have to know at a very early age how to sort of pull that all together
and find the right people.
Find the right people. Keep it all under control. Don't let it get to your head. It's not about an Instagram like. It's a business.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to be Carly
Claus. It's hard work.
It's hard work. I mean, you're traveling a lot, which is great.
Yep.
But I worked in conditions, Mark, that were awful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a really, freezing cold in the Normandy Sea, in a bathing suit in January. I got real sick after that. So there are pros and cons, like any other business.
For sure.
Like any other business. And I'd say be tenacious, really want it. Know that the modeling isn't going to last forever, and that, again, while I'm doing something, I'm always thinking about what I'm going to do next.
Right.
And that's really paramount when it comes to modeling.
Interesting.
That's not going to last for long.
Right.
Acting, same way. You're here today,
athletes.
You're gone tomorrow. Athletes, you're here today, you're gone tomorrow. Yeah. While you're living in the moment, while you're really, basking in that phenomenal success, be thinking about what's next, how you can parlay where you are into what's going to be next.
Right. Yeah, I luckily chose a profession that the older you get, the kind of the better it gets for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you did. Whereas, for us, it's, people say, oh, supermodel. Well, I'm 60 now, and
right.
I've got a few pounds on, and I don't look the same way as I used to. So people go, Jesus, well, I was, and now I'm not. And
You still look beautiful
well,
to
thank
me.
you.
I got Isabel sitting over here.
Yeah.
I got you sitting here. I'm like, it's been my normal day. Just beautiful women all around me. I love it.
Well, that's kind of you. Thank you. But, you think about what's next. And for me, it was media. This is my medium. This is what I love to do.
Excellent at it.
What I love to do, what I will die doing,
Right.
is interviewing people, helping them get their message out, get the story out in the most intelligent possible way. I've never done an interview with anybody I didn't either know, like, or trust.
Right.
And I think that that's also another really great component to, you got to know them, you got to like them, you got to trust them.
Yeah. No, what I'm finding in doing this is just how many interesting stories people have that, they aren't famous people,
Right.
but you start prying into it a little
Yeah.
bit and you find these little cracks and crevices that are so interesting and inspiring.
It's really true.
That is so cool,
Yeah.
I just did a podcast on my barber who's 92 years
I
old.
saw that.
And it's just like,
I saw the pictures.
oh my God, he's such a cool
Yeah.
guy,
He is.
So I love that part of life, to be
Yeah,
honest with
absolutely.
you. And that's why I love, just meeting people.
Right.
So now tell us more about the things, we talked about that. How do you relax? How do you chill out? What do you do? I mean, I just don't see you as a person that would sit by the pool for
No.
12
Never.
hours and just
Never.
get a
Never.
tan.
I don't tan. I won't. Here's what I do to relax. People say, the question I hate is, what do you do for fun?
Yeah, okay. I'm glad I didn't ask that question then.
Because, honest to God, I really don't know.
Well, no, I think I know what it is. You like to work.
Yeah, I love to work.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I love
That's
to
my
work.
favorite thing to do.
That's my fun. And if I have to take a day and just, do the self-care thing, I'll go into the kitchen and bake. You're a cooker, I'm a baker.
That's one of my favorite things. Takes my mind off everything.
But here's what I do. I have lounge music in the background. I've got my essential oils going all the time. I've always got a candle or two, just 3 or 4. I'm a candle freak.
Sounds like Isabel.
Yeah, I absolutely love to create a beautiful, I'm a Taurus. I create beautiful ambiance.
Yep.
And then I snuggle up in my, my, what I used to call BBDs and my scuddies. And I'm in pajama mode pretty much all day unless I have to come out and play. And
Then where are you living at now, roughly?
Cave Creek.
Oh, Cave Creek. You
Cave
told me
Creek.
that.
Yeah.
That's a nice area.
It's beautiful. I love it up there. I really love it up there.
It feels more like the
I
desert.
got to tell you, I love Arizona all around.
Oh, I do too.
I just love it here. I'm an East Coaster. Again, born in Philly, raised in Jersey, moved to Manhattan when I was 19. I miss the energy of New York City. I don't miss the weather in the winter.
Right. And it's just harder to live there. I mean, it's so easy to live here.
It's easy to live here. It's harder to live there, but I do love New York.
Oh, I do too. We try to go as often as.
I love New York. I love and I love Italy. So those.
So how often are you in Italy?
Twice a year. About twice a year I
year?
get there. They just asked me if I would, and I'm getting called now to kind of do consults, if you will. So this guy's got a movie out in Hollywood.
So when you go, how long are you there?
I was there this time for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And last time I was there, it was a month.
Okay.
The problem with Italy is a problem, not problem, is by the time you get there and let everybody know you're there,
right,
and something actually happens, like a dinner or a lunch date or something, you're leaving.
Yeah.
So you have to give a little headway or stay a little extra time when you're there, which is what I normally do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to transition more into. We have our tours, and we're just go.
Right.
And what we're trying to do now is spend
Get there a week before.
Oh yeah, a week before or a week later, and
do
just
a nice
and just chill.
Airbnb
Yeah. So I can go down to the market and actually buy my food and really be an Italian for a week. Not just a tourist guide.
Exactly.
So. So what's next? What do you got? What do you got cooking on?
Well, since this is a launch, so that multimedia in the Limelight Media is a launch, so really focused on that. Excited about the idea of this artisan who wants to do. We're going to do a line of bags, and so right now I'm coming up with the names of these bags.
Oh, that's fun.
So we got the Clarissa.
Uh-huh.
Then we're going to have the Burt.
Yeah.
And then
I like that.
Yeah. And then in Sicily, one of the greatest things that I was always I love this about Sicilians, is that when they want to give great and grand respect to a woman,
right,
they call her donna. Donna. And they call me Donna Clarissa, and I buckled, my damn knees buckled. I was just so... Donna Clarissa. I thought that was the greatest thing on the planet. So there's going to be a Donna,
that's
yeah.
nice.
So I'm coming up with the names, I've also been engaged by a wine company to come up with the Clarissa wines.
Oh,
and
that's
so
good.
the idea there is to do a marketing plan for basically for women.
Yeah.
And do that whole thing and then have it be centered around names in fashion.
Oh, that's neat.
So
They can
that's
tie
really
it all
exciting.
together.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
That's
It's really,
awesome.
really fun. I've been contacted by the scarf guy. So there's all kinds of that
Interesting.
happening. My issue is that I've got to grow the audience.
Yeah.
And get it, much bigger and much better. Look,
Oh, and that's why I'm trying to help you. I mean, a
that'd be
little bit
great.
I can.
Yeah, it'd be fabulous. Thanks. And just getting the name out, getting letting people know that this is a beauty and lifestyle brand
Sure.
that is really more internationally based.
Right.
And I love that.
Well, I think
just
you,
love that.
Isabel, and I need to kind of collaborate
Brainstorm.
on some
Yeah, we
some
do.
events and things like
Yes,
that. I think it'll be a lot of
absolutely.
fun because we've got some great clientele. And
I know.
I think it'll be.
I would love it.
They'd find it very, very interesting, very fascinating.
Well, it's a date. We'll do that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, thank you so much for this.
Loved
this was
it.
awesome.
Thank you. I loved it.
I will want to follow up, and maybe we do another one
We
a
will.
little later.
We
Maybe
will.
one of these events. I
Yeah.
love doing the live podcasts. They're kind of fun.
Aren't they fun?
Yeah.
I love this stuff. We need to get you. I got to turn you on how to get do a video as well.
Oh, I know. I'm working on that.
Yeah, it's lots of fun.
You're a lot prettier under the camera than me.
Oh
though.
well, it doesn't matter. We're all who we are. Look, darling, I'm 60 now, so again, I said it once, I'll say it twice. It doesn't like the way it used to,
Yeah,
but
you're
I'm
doing
just
great,
a much
I would say.
better and much happier person. I think now.
Yeah.
Than I
Oh,
was
see
when I
that
was
I'm the
20
same
or
way.
30,
I'm
aren't
much
you too?
happier now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you can only get better as we age.
I always tell people, I say this all the time. Today's the youngest you'll ever be,
Yeah.
and and it's also the smartest day you've ever been.
Absolutely.
You get both in the same
Exactly.
day, every day.
That's a great saying.
Right?
I love that saying.
It's
That's
true.
It is true. And so we'll leave everybody with that you're
Yep.
bigger, better, and stronger and bolder today than you were yesterday.
Okay, so what's the easiest way to get a hold of you?
I'm on social everywhere. So it's, just Clarissa
Clarissa
Burt
Burt.
social or clarissa@clarissaburt.com.
Perfect. And we'll add a lot of posts and information on our
Yeah.
story so you can get a hold of you.
Right.
And we'll have to have you over for dinner with Rita.
Love it. Yes.
How's that sound? A little
The
gluten-free,
Italian gluten-free gastronomy cookbook.
there we
There's
go.
70 glorious recipes in there, each one with a picture. And we're really proud of this
Maybe
book.
that's the next podcast.
And by the
of
way,
you and
you
Rita.
don't have to be gluten-free to eat
No,
gluten-free.
I was looking at this. This is
You don't have to. It's not like, I don't eat gluten-free, so I'm not going to get that book.
Right.
This is healthy living. This
totally
is healthy recipes.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, and it's a great way. Look, if you can take gluten out of your diet, I'm here to tell you, you'd only be better off. The less
She
you
keeps trying to
right,
have me
yeah.
do that.
The less because I'm telling you, I'm here to say, and I'm not a doctor, a lot of our ailments that are mysterious ones are probably due to your gut health and to gluten.
Yeah. And I mean, we notice it when we go to Italy and eat there versus eating the food here.
Yeah.
The food there is just so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
better.
yeah,
We
for
have
sure.
too much
Crap.
GMOs and
Say
crap.
crap.
We have a lot of crap in our food, right?
You can say crap. It's your show.
I can say whatever the hell I want, right? But
Okay.
man, it's a big difference,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mark.
It
Thank
was
you for
awesome.
having me. I
Ciao.
loved it. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao ragazzi. Ciao. Alla prossima.
Ah, there you go. Wow, I'll tell you, that was a lot of fun. Clarissa Burt, you are awesome. You have so much energy, and I just love your can-do attitude. You just go out there and you just keep doing things and keep hitting home runs, and I love you. Thank you so much for coming in and doing the podcast. And then we went and had lunch with Isabel and had a wonderful afternoon. So it was great to catch up. Anyway, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We are heading right into the holidays now, Christmas, New Year's, and the new decade right around the corner. And our office remodel is coming along. We're really excited. The kitchen's starting to go in, and we are going to be featuring those beautiful monogram appliances. And we're so happy to have them as our sponsor. And we will be doing some cooking in there. I'll tell you, come 2020, we will be hitting it hard. In fact, speaking of cooking, I'm going to be cooking for 30 people Saturday night. One of my dear clients is having her birthday, and I agreed to, as a gift, prepare dinner for her and her guests. And we are going to have a blast. I mean, this house is absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited to be doing that. Speaking of cooking, remember to hit the our website and the story notes for the link to bid on our dinner at Taliesin. I'll be cooking there in the Frank Lloyd Wright dining room, and we will be auctioning off 30 spots, so make sure you get in on that action. That's going to be a very memorable and historic evening. So thanks again for all the support, and we will see you next time on Inspiring Living. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.